Hi guys, my name is Rebecca and I'm the mom behind the videos that were recently put up on my page. I've gotten a lot of questions in my comments recently asking like, oh, could you give us a little bit more details on why you chose Brazil? Why did you choose that of all countries? So today I'm going to answer a couple of the questions that I got in the comments and just give you a little bit of insight as to why we moved, why we chose Brazil, and a little bit more information on the videos that are going to be coming up soon. So I'm Irish and we were living in Ireland before moving to Brazil, and basically I had no family living there and we were feeling very isolated, we were feeling very stressed, the kids were stressed because we were stressed, and so we sat down and we just had to have a conversation and decide, okay, although we're very comfortable in Ireland and financially stable and all those things, we're pretty miserable and we're really stressed. So do we stay here, or do we decide to try and move to Brazil where we have family? My husband's family live here. Do we try and move there and be closer to family and in general just happier? So we went through the pros and cons of the whole thing, and we decided, okay, we're going to make the decision to go there, try it out and see how we get on and see if it improves our quality of life, the kids' quality of life. And so basically that's kind of the main reason why we came here, was just for family, to be close to family and to just enjoy life here more. And a lot of people in the comments have been saying, no, don't come to Brazil, but it's too late for that. But I would say, like, if somebody was planning on coming here for financial gain and was planning to come here and make their millions, which I'm not saying is not possible, but I would say, like, if that's your main motivation for coming, then Brazil's not the place for that. But if you're coming to be closer to family, maybe you're like me and your partner is Brazilian, then it's definitely an option. Obviously for us, we're not saying we're here forever, we're here for the time being and to see how things go, and it definitely is not an easy thing to just pack up and move across the world to Brazil. And everything obviously is, from my point of view, moving from Ireland to Brazil. So say for example, if you were planning to move to Brazil from America or from somewhere else in Europe, obviously your circumstance might be very different to what mine was in Ireland, or you might have much better services or much better things to do with kids and all of that kind of stuff. So I can only give advice basically from my point of view. So I've had a lot of people saying, how do you feel there? What do you feel about the life there and stuff? So I'll be making videos on the pros and cons of what I've experienced here in Brazil so far. I'll also be making a video on the visa process coming here, because there was a lot of things that I didn't know before getting to Brazil. So for example, obviously I had to do the whole visa process in Ireland before coming, but there was things that even the embassy there didn't know before I got here. So it's definitely kind of a learn as you go thing, and I remember searching for it online and not really finding any information on that before I got. So I'll be doing a video on the visa process coming here, things I wish I'd known before I got here about that. I'll be making a video on schools in Brazil, because that was something I heavily searched for before coming here, because the school system here is completely different to Ireland. And I have 3 kids and they're all at different level of schooling. So I'll be making a video on that, just kind of explaining the system here, and there was things that we had planned on doing coming here that didn't actually work out once we got here, because we arrived in the middle of the school year, so that had a huge effect on our decisions regarding the kids' schools. So I'll be making a video with more details on that. Another thing is the process of getting the kids' IDs, their CPFs, their birth certificates and all of that. That's a big process here, so I'll be kind of doing a detail more on that as well. I might throw that in with the visa video just to make it more comprehensive, but there's definitely a lot of paperwork here and things like that people should be aware of before you get here. And definitely by no means moving to Brazil was easy and straightforward. Like when we got here, it was very stressful. There was a lot of things to set up, bank accounts, phones, paperwork, IDs, all of this kind of stuff. So be aware that, like, if you are planning to move here, it's not going to be roses as soon as you land. It's definitely going to be, as I suppose it would be moving to any country, it's uprooting your whole life. So it is going to be a bit of a teething period before you figure out how it's going to work out for you and your family, before you find the real happiness of the situation. I had one commenter ask me specifically, how do I think it is raising kids in Brazil? Now, I've only been here for 4 months, so obviously since we've been here, there's been a lot of things on for the kids. There's been Festa Julinha, which is basically like a celebration of the harvest, and they do this big kind of like a festival in the towns, and the kids come together from the different schools and they kind of do like a competition against each other where they dress up in like, I don't know how you'd describe it, like a scarecrow garb, except without the straw and that sort of, so like tartan shirts and the straw hats and stuff like that. And they kind of do this dance that tells the story of a farmer and his wife getting married, and all of the farmers coming together to celebrate it. And you know, every school does a little bit different dance, and then they pick a winner. But there's like a whole festival around it, and there's food stalls and candy stalls, and there's music, and the whole community comes together for it. And it's really nice because we have things in Ireland for kids, but it's never that heavily community based where all the schools come together and it's all of the parents there celebrating the kids and things like that. And just recently we had Dias das Crianças, which is Children's Day, and it's more of like a children's week here. For example, in my two younger kids' schools, they had a whole week of like agenda for the kids of bouncy castles and chocolate fountains and all of this kind of stuff for the week. So the kids were delighted with life, and there's always this kind of things going on for kids, and everywhere you go, like, kids are priority, which is not the case in Ireland, you know. So maybe it is that way for your kids in your country, so again, that mightn't be anything unusual for you, but for me it's definitely a different thing here. Kids definitely get priority with that type of stuff. But my younger two kids are definitely flying with Portuguese, from the regards that in their school it's more fun based and more games because they're younger, whereas my older kid is struggling a bit more because he's been kind of thrown in the deep end of just sitting down in a class every day and studying in Portuguese. So unless your kids are fully bilingual before you come here, I would say you'd probably have to look into getting a tutor for them initially, just to kind of help them along so that they're not falling behind in school and this kind of things, because we definitely have struggled with that a little bit with our eldest kid. My youngest kid, he's 3, and he's more or less talking to me 50-50 at the moment, so half English, half Portuguese in the one sentence. So we're trying to wait for the full turnover. But it's interesting to see. And my middle kid, he's 5, almost 6, but he's more shy than my other kids, so I think he has a lot more internally than he's using. He's just shy about using it, and that's kind of the same as me as well. But he's definitely more comfortable, and he's making friends in school and stuff like that. So the kids, they're very happy, you know. The other thing I would briefly touch on is like the healthcare here is a huge factor in swaying me to say yes, it is better here. Again, I'm only going off of Ireland because the healthcare system in Ireland is chronic. It's so bad. But for example, since I've been here, I've already had a hospital stay with one of the kids. He had to go for surgery to get a rubber removed from his ear. Mom things, mom life. But he was seen instantly. They said, okay, he needs to go for surgery straight away. He was taken in that day, and it was all sorted, and he was home the next day. So from that point of view, the healthcare here is perfect. And I've seen a few people say, oh no, the SUS here isn't good. But from what I've seen, everything here has been perfect. I actually had to go for emergency surgery when I was here on holidays one year in 2014, I think it was, and that was actually a fault from my country because they missed something, and when I was here, suddenly I ended up in emergency surgery, but the care I received was perfect. Nothing went wrong, and I always felt in good hands all the time. So from my point of view, the healthcare here is perfect in the hospitals. The appointments, like the general doctor's appointments and stuff like that, I've definitely noticed like kids are priority, which suits me perfect. You know, anything my kids have had, they've been seen within 1 to 2 weeks. Adults have to wait a little bit longer. But all in all, I would say like the healthcare system is very good, and it's like, I'm coming from Ireland, as I say, the healthcare system there is so bad. The other thing is like the cliche thing, like the weather, but it does make a huge difference. Like most of the days here are sunny. We arrived in the winter and it's still been so hot. Well, especially for me because I'm Irish and it's not even the summer yet, so that's going to be a bit of a struggle for me. But the weather makes such a difference. The kids have the pool, you know, which all leads to like a better quality of life. They're not stuck indoors with the rain outside. And in Ireland there's very little for kids to do, you know, whereas here, like, even the shopping centres have a lot of fun things for the kids to do, like activities or play areas and stuff like that, which we don't really have in Ireland. We have, but not in the same level that they have here. We're very lucky in the sense that we are living in a condominium, and I think if you are moving to Brazil, this is a huge factor. Now obviously I'm not living in São Paulo city, I'm living about an hour outside in a smaller town, but I would say I wouldn't be comfortable living in a house out on its own in a field somewhere, do you know what I mean? Because I'm not naive to the danger that is here. But we're lucky that we do live in a condominium and there's security and it's very safe. For example, like we have a playground just right beside our house, and I feel comfortable letting the kids go to the playground and come back by themselves, the older two obviously, because it's so safe. And our neighbours and the people who live here are all very friendly, and you know, everybody's kind of on the same level, and all the guards wave as you go past. It's a very friendly atmosphere in here. So we are lucky from that point of view, because I know that's not the reality in a lot of Brazil. But the downside of that is it is much more expensive living in a condominium than it is in a house on its own somewhere in the town, you know. But I think especially initially that is important for your, you know, for your peace of mind and all of that. You know, you do want to be safe, you want your kids to be safe. So if that's not financially possible for you, then I would say maybe, I mean, it depends on where you're going in Brazil as well. Obviously, I moved to where my husband's family were living, the same town. So it's a case of, if you're moving solely on your own and you're going to have no support, and that it's very circumstantial. It's not easy for me to say, yes, come, it's amazing, or no, don't come, it's terrible, because it's very from person to person, like what your circumstances like where you're living now and what your circumstance will be like when you come here. So we are very fortunate that we live somewhere so nice to begin with, and you know, it kind of made the move here much smoother for sure. So I will be doing more videos as well on autism in Brazil, my experience with that, because we do have that in our family, so that's something that affects us, and I have to say so far I'm very impressed with that, but I will do a whole video on that. Just generally I'll be giving information on things that I was searching for on YouTube or on Google before I came and I just couldn't find it. So they're the kind of things that I'll be putting up, and if you have any questions for me that you would like to answer, or if you're considering coming here and there's something that you'd like to know about, if I can answer, please drop a comment and I will try my best to put that in the next video to give the answers. And I hope you enjoy following along our journey. Like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.